Looking at our competition is normal and can even be healthy and a strategic way to grow your business. It can help you better understand shifts and changes in your industry and inspire you to try new approaches or even new services. But taking a look at the competition can be a slippery slope, my friends, as I am sure you have already discovered for yourself. If we aren't careful, our strategic looksie into what the competition is doing can lead to second guessing our approach to everything from marketing to our services. It can have us chasing trends and making decisions that just don't align with our brand or support our goals. And it can seriously chip away at our confidence and have us doubting our ability to actually be successful. Today, we are taking an up close and personal look at the competition together and how to do it without losing our confidence. Welcome to the Solo Grind, your weekly coffee break with me, Teresa Schloop, a fellow solo small business owner who knows that growth in business isn't just about what you build and what you do, but how you think. So grab a cup of coffee, my friends, and let's chat. Hello and happy Tuesday, or whatever day you are tuning in. I have been having a lot of conversations lately about the competition, and I wanted to bring those conversations to you here on the Solo Grind. It isn't all that surprising that there's been a lot of chats about the competition lately, as 2026 is still pretty new. And entrepreneurs, we are curious by nature. We want to know what others are doing and if we're missing out on something that could shift our business in the best possible way. I know I personally often look at my competitors for inspiration and because I love seeing their success. In all honesty, I don't actually see them as competitors. I see others in the branding and web design world who are doing really fabulous work as ambassadors who make this industry stronger. I love seeing what they create and knowing that when I chat with someone who isn't a great fit for me, there are others out there I can trust to send them to. But I haven't always had this viewpoint into the world of competition. Early on, competition scared me, even though I would say there's more than enough work for all of us. Each time someone got a contract over me, it stung and I would doubt my own abilities. Other times, I have looked at competitors and wondered, why the heck are they copying me? Both of these reactions can easily lead me down a road that isn't all that healthy for me or my business. And I know on recent conversations, I'm not the only one who has felt that. As I said in the intro today, looking at the competition can be a really smart strategic move. It's what happens after we look at the competition that can quickly lead us into a maze of doubt and confusion with no clear exit marked. So today, I thought we could take a look at our competitors together. We're first going to take a look at the ugly side of our thoughts so we can quickly recognize warning signs and pivot in a new direction. I also want to touch briefly on the why are they copying me thoughts because they are likely to come up at some point for us all, and that actually isn't as bad as we think it is. Finally, we are going to take a look at why our competitors might actually be standing out a little bit more than us, and how we can use this to make strategic decisions for our business that are intentionally focused on our goals. Before we get into all of that, let's take a moment for introductions, just in case you are new around here. I'm Teresa Schloop, the original caffeine creative, and I am a brand strategist, web designer, podcaster, and often the business bestie by your side. I primarily work with solo small business owners like you because I know what a lonely road this can be. Being a doing it all solo small business owner is not for the faint of heart, my friends. As a solo entrepreneur following a dream, there are a lot of late nights and early mornings, skipping weekends, cutting holidays short, feeling like you're never good enough, always aiming higher and higher, and never quite sure we will ever get there. But I also know that we will get there. I have witnessed countless other solo business owners like yourself make things happen, and I know you can make it happen too. So, if you are in the market for branding essentials or a website, I would like to invite you to check out my brand new fancy schmancy website at caffeinecreative.io. There, you can find out more about my services and if they feel like what you're looking for. You can also book a free, no strings attached coffee chat with me there, and we can talk about the possibilities that await you. Thank you all to everyone, new and returning listeners, for being here today. I love our conversations here on the Solo Grind and outside of the Solo Grind. Now, let's get back to the competition. And the first thing that I want to say is the competition is not the enemy. I know we are conditioned to see them as a threat to our success, but that really isn't true. There's more than enough work for all of us, and I'm not just saying that this time. And when our competitors are out there doing a really great job, they are strengthening our industry. As a web designer, I have come in contact with a lot of people who don't trust web designers because there are some really shisty ones out there. So when I come across another web designer who is really good, takes good care of her clients, I am so grateful to them. When we look at the competition as the enemy, we're operating in a scarcity mindset that is never going to serve us well. And as a solo business owner, I think we need to be especially mindful of this because we are the whole team behind our business. We don't have others around to bounce ideas off of or talk through issues within the business. We may have a few people that we can reach out to when we need to, but for the most part, we are on our own. So when our thoughts spin out of control, there's likely no one around to witness that and bring us back to thinking clearly. Now, one of the most likely moments for us to slip into that fear-based scarcity mindset is when we take a look at our competitors and what they are doing. This is what that looks like when we are in a fear-based mindset. First, we look for proof that we are doing it wrong. It may start off as simple curiosity as we start poking around to see what others are doing in their social media or maybe how they structured their website. Maybe we sign up for their newsletter. But if we aren't careful, that curiosity can shift into fear, and the next thing we know, we think we are doing everything wrong. Soon, rather than analyzing what others are doing from a strategic perspective, we begin looking for confirmation that they are in fact better than us. We look at how many followers they have, the number of likes, comments, and shares that they get, how often they post, and what they post. What is their email size list, or what we assume it is, and what is their perceived lifestyle or success. We see all of these things as proof that they are better than us, smarter than us, and much more successful than us. We are so focused on how successful they are compared to us that we don't see that they are painting a picture of success that is not entirely accurate. They may certainly be kicking butt in the world of business, but it's not all easy peasy. They have challenges, struggles, and fears of their own. They just aren't sharing all of those with the world. And I have also seen up close that some who brag about sensational accomplishments like 5-figure weekend launches or having a 7-figure business don't actually make that much profit once the expenses are covered. Years ago, I was working with a coach behind the scenes as part of her support team who had spent almost $10,000 on launching a new product, only to make a few $100s at launch. In fact, I don't know that she ever made much more than that from her product and soon retired it. So, the point that I want to make here is that successes that we see aren't always real, and yet that is the version of success we are constantly measuring ourselves against. Another way we know we have slipped into the dark side and are in that scarcity mindset is busy work goes into overdrive. Once we have convinced ourselves that we are doing everything wrong, we start believing that we are behind and need to catch up really fast. So we dive into busy work that doesn't really help shift the success of our business. That busy work could be creating more content just for the sake of more, chasing trends that don't really align with our business or our goals, learning more with new courses, programs, masterclasses that really aren't teaching us anything new. We could be polishing behind the scenes details that our clients never actually see or feel, and saying yes to things even when we know a solid no thank you would serve us better. This kind of stuff makes us feel productive. And because we feel more productive, we believe we are making good decisions. But there is no clear direction in what we're doing. Our energy is scattered and we are all over the place making changes. This is something that I see a lot and actually have a whole episode dedicated to it next week, where I'm going to be sharing some tips on how you can ditch the busy work and get down to real business. So be sure to come back next week. Another way that we know we are in that scarcity mindset is when we start mimicking instead of thinking. Our business begins to reshape into something that mirrors what we see the competition doing or what we think they are doing. We may change our branding to look more like their brand, rewrite our website copy without a clear goal in mind, rearrange our page navigation just in case the order is wrong, change our whole approach to marketing to what they are doing, switch to or implement new tools that somebody else has sworn by, or simply change our services and offerings to mirror what we think they are doing. All of these changes are made because we think that is how we're supposed to do things. And there is actually a phrase for this. It's called competition shadow. And if you are like me and love reading really dry research papers, there was a fascinating study published in the National Library of Medicine on this, in which the researchers took a look at fear and hope and how they impact decision making in entrepreneurs. I will share a link to that in the show notes in case you love the dry, boring research papers like I do. All right. All of this doubt, fear, and busy work that feel productive actually works against our success. Our confidence is shaken, and the foundation that we have built our business upon begins to crumble. What's even worse is we begin to lose sight of all that we actually have accomplished, and we stop measuring success based on what matters most to us and start chasing things that do little to nothing to move our business forward. What we don't realize is our competitors probably aren't doing better work than us. They have just made it easier for people to notice what they are doing because they show up consistently and they sound like themselves. So, how do you shift your mindset to healthy competition? We have all been in an ugly mindset regarding our competition. It's called being a human. And as a human, our thoughts don't always support us. Thankfully, we have control over our thoughts and the power to flip the script into something that is supportive. So, while doing my research for today's episode, I came across an article that covered this beautifully. It's an older article on medium.com, but still very relevant and worth the read. I will, of course, add a link to the show notes, but let me sum it up here for you. In this article by Tim Denning, he shares that our competition isn't actually the problem we think they are. It is us obsessing over them that is the real problem. Worrying about what they are doing only brings us down and drains our energy. Energy that can be used to build something solid and real. There is room for more than one business to succeed, and we don't have to win every opportunity to be successful. In fact, losing deals, watching others stumble, and even working alongside our competitors can sharpen our clarity and strengthen what we do. So, what about the competitors who are shadowing us? We talked briefly about competition shadowing, and I see two sides to that. One is where we're the ones doing the competition shadowing, and I think we've all done that to some degree, even though we may not want to admit it. The other side is when they are shadowing us or copycatting us. I remember the first time this happened to me. I was maybe 6 months into my life coaching business and starting to build some really good success with the programs I was offering locally. When out of the blue, a fellow coach and collaborator began offering one of my programs with a slightly different name and for less money. It was so blatant and obvious that my phone actually began ringing off the hook from others in our circle who saw what she was doing. And their anger at what she was doing only fueled my own anger and indignation. I was so hurt by this that I could think of little else for a couple days until my very straight talking husband said something that literally stopped me in my tracks. He said, "Honey, if you can't handle someone copying you, I'm not sure you're cut out for this business thing." And I gotta admit, that hurt too, but he was 100% right. When we're doing something great, others are going to take notice of it, and some of those other people are going to try and recreate it for themselves. Some will straight up copy everything we do, where others will be a little bit more subtle. Some won't even realize they are even copying us because they actually aren't copying us. We just inspired them. Now, here in more recent years, as a web designer, podcaster, brand strategist, I have come across a blog post that I have written, or blog posts that someone else has written, or even podcast episodes that closely mirror something that I myself have shared. And I don't see this as copying. I see this as either we are just that in sync, sharing a similar message that the world needs to hear, or maybe what I shared inspired them. Either way, the message is getting out there and people are hearing something they need to hear. Their audience is slightly different than mine, so it's okay that they mirrored what I'm doing. But what if it isn't subtle mirroring? What if it is flat out, indisputable copying? The obvious answer is to take legal action, and that is definitely a route to consider, especially if it's an exact copy of your work. As I am not a lawyer, I don't think I should step into advising how to go about doing that. But I do want to address this from a mindset perspective, because only when we have a clear head can we address this issue in the best possible way. Now, we've all heard the quote from Oscar Wilde: imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. But a lot of us have not heard the full quote, I myself included. And that is, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery that mediocrity can pay to greatness. When someone is mimicking you, they see you as someone greater than themselves, someone they aspire to be and can model themselves after. The trouble with their approach is they are trying to be someone they are not. They are trying to be you. And as Dr. Seuss said in his Happy Birthday to You book, there is no one alive who is youer than you. While they may see a little bit of success from copying you, and that is a huge maybe, it won't be sustainable success. So you can probably wait it out because I doubt it will last long. Now, here's how I approach the mimickers and the copycatters. First, I recognize that they simply don't have the entrepreneurial maturity that I have. That comes with time, patience, and a lot of hard lessons learned. Next, if it's really bad, I will invite them to coffee. Whether this is an in person coffee or a virtual one, I want them to know the real me. Seeing me as a person rather than competition usually brings the copying to a quiet end. And while they may not accept my invitation, they know I am fully aware of them. And again, that usually brings the copying to an end. Finally, I just keep doing what I do to the best of my ability. They can't keep up with me by copying me, and eventually they will find their own way or copy someone else. Okay, now that our mindset is in the right place, let's take a strategic look at the competition and what we can learn from that competition when we are doing a healthy competitor analysis. First, let's start by defining who actually matters. Not everyone in your industry is actually a competitor. So, comparing yourself or your business to someone who is targeting a different customer demographic than you is a waste of time. So, what do you look for in a business is you want to look for a business that serves a similar audience to you. They offer similar services to you, and they have an investment range close to your own. This one, honestly, I cannot stress it enough because all too often we compare ourselves to someone who just isn't in the same circle as us. We may achieve their level of success someday, but that takes time and we have to put in the time to get there, just like they did. The next thing to do for a strategic and healthy competitor analysis is look for patterns, not individuals. Focusing all of your attention on one particular competitor is one of the quickest ways to fall into competitor shadowing or negative thinking. Instead, look at several businesses similar to your own. This could even be businesses that are outside of your service area, as long as their business supports the same types of clients. As you look at these businesses, ask yourself what shows up repeatedly in their business or all of the businesses. What feels familiar and comfortable, and what feels overused or outdated. This is going to give you ideas of how you could structure things so that they feel genuine and authentic to you. Next, I want you to take a look at their client journey, not just their marketing. What our competitors share about their client journey can be incredibly revealing to us and our own potential clients. So, spend a little time reading through their testimonials, their client wins, their case studies, or even the stories that they share how a project didn't go as planned. And you are going to see patterns start to appear. Things like the frustrations or struggles that their clients had before hiring that business, or how their clients felt heard, seen, understood, and supported, and what made that happen. You'll notice little surprises their clients mention that they didn't fully expect or expect at all, and yet still truly appreciated them, and how clear the process was or how it exceeded expectations. Looking for specific mentions about communication, guidance, clarity, or ease, this is what your own potential clients are looking for. And these are opportunities to say, how can I bring that into my own business? Another thing to take a look at is notice what they choose to simplify in their business. Strong businesses simplify on purpose. When things are simple, they are easier to manage, especially when you are a solo business owner. So take a look at how many offers or services that they have. What are the boundaries that they have in place and the steps they share to get started working with them? From here, you can take a look at your own processes and systems and look for opportunities for improvement that will create a kind of customer experience your potential clients are looking for in a way that is totally in alignment with your own goals. The opportunities for improvement also might come from something that they aren't doing that you know you could do well that would enhance your client's journey. I also want you to pay attention to what they have stopped doing. There are a lot of reasons we stop doing things in our business. Perhaps it was a service not in alignment with our goals or one we just didn't enjoy doing. Or maybe we realize that it's something our dream clients are just not looking for. Our competition is doing the exact same thing, and what they stop doing can be very telling. So take a look at what they no longer offer and see if you can spot a pattern. Sometimes it's going to highlight an opening where you can stand out by continuing to offer what they stopped doing. Other times, it's going to signal a real change in the market that helps you decide where your time or energy is better spent. When we look at our competition from a healthy mindset, we feel energized and inspired. We stop guessing and reacting to the things around us, and we start making strategic decisions that actually strengthen our business. If you take one thing away from today's conversation, I hope it is this. The goal has never been to build a business that looks like someone else's. It's to build a business that works for you. And With that, we are now at the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. If this conversation has got you thinking, I would love to hear about it. Reach out. You can text me through your podcast app or email me directly at theperfectblend@caffeinecreative.io. And as always, feel free to share this episode with another solo small business owner that may find this helpful. Just because we are in business on our own doesn't mean we have to do it by ourselves. And I think it's always helpful when we support each other in any way we know how. Have a fabulous week, my friends, and I will see you all next week. Thanks for tuning in to The Solo Grind, your weekly coffee break with your business bestie by your side. I would love it if you could take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast because I just love having you here with me.